Okay, recording now. So, hello everyone. I want to introduce you to the film La Clave. I'm Gigi, one of the programmers at the SF Doc Fest. And we have with us today Kurt Hartel, the director, writer, and producer of this amazing film. And we're just going to be asking some questions and find out about his experience when you were there in what, 2012, when you first went, and what your experience was like when you went to Cuba and fell in love with the music. So if you could tell us a little bit about what that was like going there in 2012 and what it took you to start shooting the film in 2018. I believe that's when you started, correct?
Yeah, nearly. The very first day was 2006.
Okay.
2006. And I'm a musician, and we, with a small group, we decided just for fun to go to Cuba. And when I was there the first time, it was amazing what I heard there. It was quite another thing than all the big opinions are telling me it has to be. It was a lot of things I heard, and manifold of sounds of music and so on. And so I decided I cannot talk about this. Nobody would believe to me. I cannot do photos of this. I take a video camera and go through the city. And that was the very first step. I wanted to know about what is unique here, what is only here. That was the first step. Then I had 6 tries, which didn't work over the years. And there I met a guy, Cesar Lopez. He's a very good alt saxophone player. He played with Rakeri, and we were friends from the very first day on. And he said to me, no, you don't stop this idea. And the 7th try was successful, and you saw it. Yeah. So, and this lasted from 2006 up to 2018. We did the shooting in from January until May in 2018. So that was the reason. And I didn't want to be the 100th or 105th of person going to Cuba and doing something about the things here and telling them what here happens. I wanted the musicians to tell. That was my point. And let me say, I don't speak Spanish. So I did a Spanish film, and this can work only with music.
Yes, there was so much beautiful showing the colleges and the different groups and the different sounds that were all coming out of it. But it was based in what the title of the film is La Clave, right? And I know the film explains that in such a great way with the rhythm and the pattern. I mean, the pattern and the code and the key to the rhythm, and then you experience it from there. And everyone, it seems to me, has a different interpretation, but based upon the clave, what it sets as the tone of the music that comes out of it, right? Like I think Alain Perez said it, Yeah, he was talking about that. And go ahead.
You must have the clave, he says. If you don't have the clave, you wouldn't be accepted by the music, like a wrong code on a safe, he said in the
right. Yeah, and that struck me. And he also says that he was born twice, once from his mother's womb and once when his music gave him life again. So I mean, these are integrated so much into these people. And was that first person that you met the reason why you were able to get an all Cuban crew? I mean, how did you do that, to have an all Cuban crew to shoot the film?
Oh yeah, it was 7. I told you 7 steps. It was a long way. to fight against obstacles and so on. But finally, it worked. And there was a time I decided I just want to work with Cubans, because I was with a very good friend from me, camera guy. I was in Cuba too, but at a certain moment I decided, no, I will do it only with Cubans, because I want to know what they are
Right.
thinking about their item.
Yes. And I think that's,
And, yeah, excuse
exactly.
me. You asked me how I did find the
Mhm.
wonderful people who worked with me, Toussaint, the cameraman, wonderful people, Michel, a wonderful sound guy, very professional ones. And I think it works because I was accepted by the musicians. And so it worked. Oh, look for this guy, or this might be. And so my contacts grew.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
on a certain time, I had the staff together. It was beginning of 2018, and then we started.
Okay. And then you just, how was it? You then, in post-production, where were you? Did you do post-production in Cuba, or where were you?
No. I did post-production in Germany,
Mhm.
and I should tell you that it was very essential for me. Every person who worked with the film. I told you I don't speak Spanish. I had an assistant, a wonderful
Mhm.
lady. She's a writer, and she spoke very well English. She understood what I want, what I think, and she could transfer to the other guys. That was a wonderful thing. And the post-production I did in Germany, in Munich,
Mhm.
and I I like to work with younger people. This combination of old experience and young going forward
Yeah.
uh, often works very well. And these two guys, Max Garhammer and Hiers Springer, my editors, they were they had a contact to music, but they did a lot of film edition and production for sports. For example, the very fast things like Red Bull does. That's where they came from. And this combination worked wonderful.
Yeah.
And here's Springer, here's a wonderful editor. He managed to go with picture and music and all these things. When I started post-production and I came from Cuba with all this material, I thought, oh, I have to pay attention not to lose the Cuban soul on this. And so I was always in very close contact with phone with Olava Alain. That's a
Mhm.
guy, a
Yeah.
professor, yeah. So, and I always wanted to say that I don't show something from my point of view. So,
Yeah.
and I found wonderful people in Germany, these two young guys, and together with Olave and me, it worked like you saw it.
Oh, that's wonderful. I mean, there's so much history that he brought to it, explaining things, which was really great. And the musicians did too. It's like they were storytellers and musicologists, just like he, is. And then, you bring in, what was her name? I have to look. The Santera. What was her name?
Ah, Marina,
Marina Ruiz. Ruiz.
Marina,
Yeah.
a wonderful person. Ah, wonderful.
Yeah.
Marina, yeah.
She seemed to have, start that school with with people, getting people off the streets and dancing and music and all that. So that was another level, I believe, to the film that, it was you wove a beautiful fabric of not only the music, but of the culture and how it
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, she is a very great person, Marina. She took care since many years about their environment and children and so on in her environment in some circumstances like favelas a little, you know.
Mhm.
And she did all these things, the good things, with the roots. And they were the African Cuban roots and the religious roots from past times and so on, and which comes out in dancing and so on. And you can see it. And this works in a wonderful way. She does. She has 80 in her group, 80 children all the time, and all these children have a very good development.
Yeah,
She's
wonderful.
yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. No, she did from our point of view from outside. We would call it a social thing what she is doing, but she does it with the roots. You know what is very inside.
Yeah, that was incredible. And she herself was quite a character, you know, I mean, just certain
Yes.
presence, you know, that you feel. And she was I don't know, I fell in love with her in any event. And then what's kind of in contrast is the conservatories and the school and and that people are learning more traditional ways of music, and then translating that back into Cuban music. So, you know, they're doing more of a European style in some of the conservatories in Havana as well. Can you talk a little bit about how that transition helps with these students going into
Yeah, from my experience, I have to decide what I learned from the Cubans and what are my ideas. So I think learning a lot of things in a school, in a university, and is one thing. But you saw in the film the little boy, 4 years old, playing clave, and you remember, and drums.
Yeah.
He was not on a university. That means there are two things: the street and things you have to learn. And I found out, for example, in comparison with, I'm from Germany. In Germany, we learn the same thing on conservatories, but there is something different. So I think if you learn something, if it's a craft or music or whatever, and you had have a lot of technique and so on, and you finish this, then you have to forget everything. Then you become free and you can use your tools. If you are fixed on the tools, you're not totally free in art, in a sense of art.
Mhm.
Do you understand my English? It's not so.
No,
You
it's great.
understand
I
what I
totally,
mean? Yeah,
yes.
you understand what I mean?
So have you shown this film in Cuba?
Yes, I showed it one time. I showed it, and I was in January last time in Cuba, and I've a lot of I'm like a member of families there, and they like
Mhm.
the film because yeah, they like the film, and I'm
Yeah,
very happy about this.
yeah. I'm sure they feel very represented in what, you know, just like you said, you want to show their perspective and not take it from, you know,
Yes, that's
let
right.
them tell their own story.
Yeah. I tell you one example. I wanted to have some pictures from Havana Vieja, from the old city, and I told my two camera guys, "Oh, go on to the city. I don't go with you because I don't want to show you where you have to shoot. I don't want that my ideas come in your in your pictures. So if you see in the film, what's the word? I don't. If you see something where you think that's from touristic or whatever, it's not from my point. It's from that's their view, and that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You understand what I want to say?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, you said it very well. And it just, the whole film to me, when it talks about the heartbeat of Cuba, it's also the heartbeat of so many influences that come from, Afro-Cuban and all that. And it comes across in this film comprehensively, the improvisation and these amazing, amazing musicians, upcoming and established musicians that gave you, so much of their time, and also just their knowledge and their love of the music. It was absolutely portrayed in your film, and I really loved it. So thank you so much. Is there anything else that you think that I'm not asking that you would like to say to the people who watch this film? Or
one thing, but I think it's obvious. If you see in the film, is not 1 second is constructed. All is like it was. And if you see the children, look in the faces, look how the body moves. You will not find it in Germany. I cannot find such things. There's something very elementary happening still there.
Yeah. And they seem to cultivate it. Everyone seems to be cultivating within, from young to older, and appreciation.
Yes, and the older people, the older, not people, the older students, they teach the younger ones. And the younger ones, like in sports, want to be better than the big guy.
Yeah.
So every year there is an amazing output of musicians there.
Oh, that's just wonderful, Kurt. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and calling from Germany. And it's a wonderful film, and I'm really excited that the SF Doc Fest can share it with the people who are out there that haven't been to Cuba or have been to Cuba. And it's wonderful. So thank you so much. Okay.
It's an honor for me to be with you in California with my film.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Goodbye.
Goodbye, ciao, ciao.